A zone is a specific portion of the aquatic facility that a lifeguard is responsible for scanning from their lifeguard station while they are on surveillance duty. The zone includes the water, the deck or shoreline, and any structures within the boundaries of the zone. Zones must be set up so the lifeguard can clearly see all parts of the zone and quickly respond in an emergency. Coverage refers to how lifeguards are assigned to zones. All areas of the water must be under surveillance at all times when lifeguards are on duty. In total coverage, there is one zone and one lifeguard is responsible for conducting patron surveillance. The lifeguard is responsible for scanning the entire swimming area, controlling the activities of patrons in and out of the water, and recognizing and responding to emergencies. If you are assigned total coverage and feel that your ability to see, conduct effective surveillance, and keep all patrons safe is compromised, tell your manager that additional coverage is needed. In multi-zone coverage, the swimming area is divided into multiple zones, and at least one lifeguard is assigned to each zone. Each lifeguard on surveillance duty must know the boundaries of each zone. Adjacent zones should overlap by several feet so that there is double coverage at the boundaries between zones. When zones overlap, each lifeguard in the adjacent zones shares responsibility for the area of overlap. The first lifeguard to recognize an emergency in the area of overlap activates the Emergency Action Plan, or EAP, and responds. Emergency backup coverage is used when 2 or more lifeguards are on surveillance duty, and one lifeguard enters the water to perform a rescue. The lifeguards who remain out of the water must take over surveillance responsibilities for the rescuing lifeguard. Ensuring adequate coverage may require shifting the zone boundaries, relocating the lifeguard stations, or both. Alternatively, a lifeguard who is not on surveillance duty may take the rescuing lifeguard's place at the vacant lifeguard station. Lifeguards conduct surveillance from a variety of positions, or stations. The location of the station within the zone and the type of station affect what the lifeguard is able to see when scanning. An elevated station provides a broad view of the zone and patron activities. When you are scanning from an elevated station, be sure to include the area under, around, and directly in front of the stand. Elevated stations vary in height. The deeper the water or the larger the zone, the taller the stand should be to afford the best visibility. A ground level station is a fixed location on the pool deck or in shallow water. Ground level stations place the lifeguard in close proximity to patrons, making it easy to perform assists and enforce rules. A lifeguard at a walking patrol station provides surveillance coverage at ground level while moving on a defined path between fixed points. When you're conducting surveillance from a walking patrol, you must actively scan the water and all of the patrons in your zone as you walk. Walk purposefully and at a reasonably quick pace. Remember, you need to complete each scan of your zone within 30 seconds. Because guards on walking patrol are mobile, they are able to position themselves within the zone to ensure the best visibility. Guards on walking patrol can also quickly move closer to investigate areas or situations of concern. A walking patrol station can be added to a zone with an elevated station. Combining the mobility of a walking patrol with the views from an elevated station provides extra coverage to help ensure effective patron surveillance. A floating station is often used as extra coverage to patrol the outer edge of a waterfront swimming area. Rescue boards, kayaks, or other types of watercraft may be used as floating stations. Factors such as glare, water movement, and blind spots can make it challenging to clearly see everyone and everything in your zone. The type of lifeguard station, where it is located, and the size of the zone all affect what you are able to see when you are scanning. Let's take a look at how the height of the lifeguard stand makes a difference in what the lifeguard can see. The following photos were taken from the height of the lifeguard's eyes when the lifeguard was seated in a 2.5-foot stand, a 6-foot stand, and an 8-foot stand. In this view, can you see the 3 children swimming on the surface of the water? From this low angle, it's very hard to see them, and you cannot see the movement of their arms or legs. When the height of the stand is increased to 6 feet, the children become more visible, but glare still hides parts of the water surface and the bottom. And at 8 feet, all of the patrons in the zone are visible, and the glare on the water surface is no longer an issue. This is an example of how the type of lifeguard station can affect visibility at the bottom, middle, and surface of the water. Now let's look at an example of how the size of the zone, the depth of the water, and the placement of the lifeguard station affect the lifeguard's visibility. From your position in the lifeguard stand, can you see the arm and leg movements of the patrons swimming at the surface in lanes 7 and 8? What about objects on the bottom? As you can see, the distance and the depth of the water also affect visibility and what the lifeguard can see from their station. These examples illustrate that many variables contribute to the lifeguard's ability to conduct effective surveillance. For lifeguards to be successful, management must verify that zones and lifeguard station placement support optimal visibility and response times. The lifeguard manager is responsible for establishing, testing, and posting each zone. When establishing zones, management must ensure that all areas of the water, from the bottom to the surface, are covered and can be seen from each lifeguard station. Each lifeguard has an unobstructed view of their zone from their station, and the size, shape, and depth of the zone allows the lifeguard to respond quickly to a victim in the water. Remember, a lifeguard should be able to recognize and reach a victim in their zone within 30 seconds, and begin resuscitative care within 1.5 to 2 minutes. Recognition and response times must be achievable in each zone. To evaluate zones and lifeguard station placement and understand zone challenges, management conducts zone verification drills for each lifeguard station. These include visibility drills and station response time testing. Visibility drills are conducted to verify that the lifeguard can see objects at the bottom and at the surface in all areas of the zone from the lifeguard station. A visibility drill is not a test of the lifeguard's abilities. Rather, it is a test of the zone relative to the lifeguard station. Visibility drills should be done for each zone while the zone is closed, and again during operating hours, while different activities are taking place within the zone. Additionally, visibility drills should be conducted anytime a characteristic of the zone changes. For example, if a new feature is added to the zone, or the type of lifeguard station changes, management should conduct a visibility drill for the zone. To conduct a visibility drill, the lifeguard manager places objects and people in various locations in the water, including at the surface and bottom, and then asks the lifeguard what they can see from their station, like this. The manager and lifeguard repeat this process until all areas of the zone have been verified as being visible from that lifeguard station. A visibility drill may also be conducted by placing multiple objects in a grid pattern on the bottom of the pool, and then asking the lifeguard what they can see from their station. Based on the results of the visibility drill, the lifeguard manager may make changes, such as modifying the size, shape, or coverage of the zone, the location of the lifeguard station, or the type of lifeguard station. Lifeguard station response time testing is done to determine whether the size and shape of the zone enables the lifeguard to reach and rescue a victim in the farthest reaches of the zone, remove them from the water, and begin resuscitative care within 1.5 to 2 minutes. Lifeguard station response time testing should be done for every zone. During a lifeguard station response time test, the lifeguard manager places a victim in a prearranged location within the zone and has the rescuing lifeguard activate the EAP. The lifeguard manager times the lifeguard team's response from activating the EAP through giving 2 ventilations. Lifeguard station response time testing should be conducted with different lifeguards when the zone is closed. This determines whether the size of the zone and the placement of the lifeguard station allow the average lifeguard to rescue and remove a victim from the water and begin resuscitative care within 1.5 to 2 minutes under ideal conditions. As a result of lifeguard station response time testing, management may decide to modify the size, shape, or coverage of the zone, the positioning of backup personnel, or the location of rescue and resuscitation equipment. Zone design and the placement and type of lifeguard stations within the zone impact your ability to conduct effective surveillance. Although management is responsible for establishing zones, feedback from the lifeguard team is essential for ensuring that the zones support optimal surveillance. You should always feel empowered to communicate with management about any zone visibility challenges that are affecting your ability to conduct effective surveillance.